Hello, hello. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Oh my gosh. Hold on. I can hear my echo somewhere. Give me 2 seconds.
And hello, everybody, from my stream. We're doing another Doodlin' and Yappin' collab, art collab, and today we have ErosaFallen back with us.
Hello, hello. I'm happy to be back. And for those watching my stream, hello, my name is ErosaFallen, and we're doing another art stream today with Flystarks Gaming, who is such a wonderful friend.
Yo.
And does an art journey of their own. We're working on a couple of pieces today.
Yup.
Oh my gosh, so many people in so early.
I don't know. I just realized I started VTube Studio, completely forgetting I don't use VTube Studio for art streams. Just close that real quick. Save the computer power.
We use PNGs here.
Yeah.
When it comes to art streams. I think the way that your PNG moves is so hilarious.
Hey, thanks for the follow, Nellen.
Nellen is so wonderful. Nellen is one of my wonderful art mutuals. We got Mobs in, we got Vesper, Beanie coming back with the sub. Thank you for the tier 1 sub. Oh my goodness.
That's cool.
That's atrocious posture slicer from Mobs.
An atrocious posture. I tried to make the honk. I tried to make the honk meme, like that goose honk meme, where it's like the goose is bent backwards, honk at like full eyes glow tilt, and
I watched you make that, I believe.
Yeah, I made that on our. I made that on the first.
On our last collaboration, yeah. 41K until Nellen gets that free doodle. Waiting for that day.
All right, let's do that.
I don't know why I'm drawing all sketchy. I'm supposed to be doing my line arts. I'm supposed to be doing like smooth.
Maybe I should give the eye here a black outline.
Maybe I should do a warm-up sketch so that I don't get all sketchy on my on my lines this evening.
Nope. Hold on. There we go.
Do a warm-up of me pose. I'm not doing art fight this year. I'm already like halfway through the month and I didn't do it. Hold on. I'm gonna pull up a doodles page. Let's do a 248 square.
Oh, whoops. Better carve that down a peg. Way too much showing there. I think that's better. You can better see the outline of the eye. All right. So the face base feels way too easy, because it's the shading and highlighting that's gonna make that one weird.
What part?
The face.
Yeah.
Right now it's just a slab of color, and it felt way too easy compared to literally everything else I had to make in this picture.
Slap. Yeah, you gotta do it like over top. Okay, well, now I'm so sorry for what I'm about to do, but does anyone here know? I'm
gonna give you PTSD.
I drew Crom dying in a glue trap. Does anyone know the glue trap meme?
What?
I figured I would draw Nellen dying in a glue trap. Because it's one of my favorite memes.
No, go away.
I'm so sorry, Nellen.
My every time I go to do a color drop, it pulls out the friggin' Wi-Fi menu. Cons of drawing on an iPad.
Drawing... Nolan, if you drew me dying in a glue trap, I would be delighted. I was contemplating doing the Family Guy death pose. That seems to be the most common pose I've seen drawn in this meme. Oh, I didn't realize Rule 34 was playing. Which I think is so phenomenal that he named that. This song is named Rule 34.
Oh, God.
So there's an artist I follow called Fish in a Birdcage.
All right.
Who is a phenomenal musician, and he makes sometimes some very spicy.
Is that
songs.
Dobby taking a nap that you're drawing?
No, that's Crom dying in a glue trap. I'm sorry. Fan art I drew of Dobby dying in a glue trap. I'm gonna find somebody drew Germa doing it. I'll base it off of this one. Not the glue trap. Okay. Germa dying in a glue trap. Here we go.
And this is where we identify, there we go, all of those issues. Perfect. What the fuck is that other one? What is Mercury and how did it get there? All right, so I have the collab questions up if we want to start on those.
Yeah, I am down for the collab questions.
All right, I only have 6 questions. I figured we'd probably come up with more on the way through.
Understandable. Almost definitely.
What got you started with or inspired you to make art? Question number 1.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's one of the ones you gave me.
Yes. Oh, it is. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I first got into drawing art when I was like a little kid. I have been drawing basically since I was like really young. I used to draw underneath our family's like family room table. Like I used to like climb up underneath it when I was like in kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
And I would take like a pencil and I would draw these like balloon type drawings of like animals underneath. And I remember when my parents were gonna get rid of that table because it was certainly looked like it was from the 90s to 2000s. Having a hard time drawing Darlin.
But you just started when you were much younger, right?
I started when I was super young.
Yeah.
To my current style and everything, I drew that on the wrong layer anyway. I'm gonna die.
Haha, the distraction. No.
Bless you. Did I say bless you to myself? All right, everybody, that's it. I've had a wonderful time. No, Lynn, I drew it bad. I drew it bad. I drew it really bad. I drew it really bad. I drew it really bad.
I think I'm shedding. My hair keeps falling out onto my on my friggin' tablet.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe I shouldn't rub my hair so much.
Maybe not. That can certainly lead to hair loss.
I'm gonna be bald.
Oh my god. Terrible.
What a problem.
It's where be like every like Gen X dad and just wear baseball hats all the time.
Gotta hide that early onset baldness.
Yeah.
Gotta cover the old chrome dome.
Amelia! I will hydrate, definitely. Also, mobs, I will not be turning on Twitch light mode. And no, you can't trick me.
Twitch light mode? Oh, that's a thing?
Yeah.
Dear God.
There's a light mode version of anything.
I know, but like, why?
Slice going bald, sad, old.
Wow. There we go. All right. That should probably my turn to answer.
Sorry. I was gonna say I got sidetracked.
No, you're good.
Basically, I looked up how to draw anime girls.
Okay.
When I was in middle school, and I didn't stop from there.
For me, I just kind of started doing it out of, I guess, more necessity. I was like, I need to learn how to draw stuff. And then it turns out I actually like getting lost in drawing stuff. So I'm like, huh, I'm gonna keep doing
You
it.
started fairly recently, didn't you?
Yeah, I became a VTuber fully at the end of March of this year. So about 3.5 months ago. But I'd been hobby streaming once a week for the past 1.5 years before that.
What hobbies were you doing again?
Oh, it was just, hobby streaming, as in I wasn't streaming very often. It was just more of a very, very side project.
Ah.
So I would stream once a week for 2 hours a day, and it was War Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you've got a guy who likes driving tanks, drawing stuff. And now I want to make really, really action-themed things.
Now, Lynn, if I've drawn you incorrectly in this glue trap, forgive me.
Hold up, I need to see how pecs get drawn in anime.
He likes your attitude.
Ah, thanks.
You have a very good mindset about your art. I think a lot of people could learn from you about the attitude towards making art, just because it's art and it's fun.
Yeah. I've actually been thinking about adding a certain redeem to my stream, sort of like request motivation, like a request motivation redeem, where people are just like, hey, what would you do, or what would you say to this, and I can just go full motivational speaker on that. Something like that. I might be able to make work. That might be interesting. But yeah. I mean, if something's not familiar to you, find a way to adapt it to your style and work from there.
Exactly.
So like,
Amelia, hello.
Actually, I'm gonna get ahead of myself, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask the next questions, because those are the answers to the next questions.
Alright, hell yeah.
Well, the second question is not that, but why did you become a streamer slash VTuber slash PNG tuber?
So, I have tried streaming before, under several attempts, basically throughout my entire young adulthood and into my adulthood. I was originally a cam streamer, and then I tried dipping my toes into VTubing and PNG tubing, and I just loved it, but I didn't have the time for it, and I had found myself in an unfortunately not great part of the community, and so I had to take a step back. But I've been so lucky with like the people involved in my life now that I was able to come back to it and keep going and try again at doing something that I love. And I've had so much more success just doing it for the fun of it, and not because I wanted to achieve anything with it, just because I did it because I love it. And I cannot thank the people around me enough for being the reason I went back into it.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, what about yourself?
I wanted to start... I'm gonna be honest, honestly, the original reason I wanted to start doing it was not the best. I wanted to start doing it because of money, and as we all know, that is not the reason to do streaming or VTubing or anything. So, I wanted to do it that way, and then I actually started figuring out what the hell it takes to be a good one, and I was like, wait a minute. All of the people at, like, the top of the food chain, like, all of the really, really big VTubers, are really cool people and the kinds of people that I would absolutely love to be friends with. To hell with making money. I'm gonna do this to become good enough to be their friends.
Hell yeah.
And so I'm like, now I'm doing this, and I'm like, oh my goodness, these people, like, it was actually really weird. Because if you had asked me 6 months prior to, like, if you had asked me in October last year, I would have turned my nose up at VTubers and walked away. And now here I am trying to go for the top of the food chain. Like, I've done a full 180. And so now we're doing this. And we're here and we're gonna win, because that's the plan. But at this point it's just kind of to do everything that I can't do with a basic 9 to 5.
That's so fair. I will say I had to go back to doing part-time work again. And it has definitely cut into my streaming time, and I have been like super sad about that, because I used to stream like 4 days a week, and now I'm doing 1 or 2 if I'm lucky.
Yeah, I want to do as much streaming time as possible, but it's also like, the more I think about it, the more I like look into it, the more I realize that content creation growth is going to be more dependent on creating a sort of permanent record of who you are rather than constant live presence. So I'm trying to rotate towards recorded content and figuring out what fits within my niche that I can make that would work. I have an idea. I'm working on a few scripts. I have a few plans. I think I'm going to record at least one of them tomorrow.
Ooh.
But, yeah, the only reason I'm streaming so much is because I don't have a job at the moment.
That is so fair. I was in the same position. It really was like my in-between, like, work and being there. And oh my gosh, so many people are jumping in. Hello, I'm so sorry. Hi,
hey guys, everybody!
Hello, hello, hello. Oh my gosh, I think I've been drawn dying in a glue trap. Oh my... No. This is terrible. I'm sending this your way. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right, Nellen, I'm gonna show everybody what you drew. You got the perspective so much better than I did.
That's
this
great.
Is amazing. This is everything I could have asked. Oh my goodness. I'm over here, I'm like, let me draw a pretty lady face. And then Nellen is still enacting revenge.
I have a bit of a question on my drawing. Do you think it looks better with the skin color similar line art or the black line art for determining like skin components like collarbone, the neck and pec alignments, like outlines?
So it seems like the rest, you should keep it consistent to like the whole piece, at least at this point, of doing like, if you're gonna do all of the pieces on the clothing in black, you should do all the pieces on the skin in black as well.
Okay. As opposed to same or similar color.
At least with the specific style that you're doing.
All right. If I do just those pieces and like, so even if I were to do like, yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Oh, shit. God damn
it. Nellen approved. Well, thank you for your confirmation, teacher Nellen.
There we go. Nope, we're gonna do it from this angle.
I have this fascination in drawing really big eyes because my IRL best friend has really big eyes.
I like what I did for the eyes on the the I Want You poster. I actually tried for that one. I'm gonna zoom in on the eyes real quick. So, like, for those who are not familiar, who might be looking at this, I basically took the old I Want You World War II propaganda poster and turned it into a stream piece, into like an advertising piece.
Oh no, I got ad.
Oh no.
I can look at it. I can look at it on Twitter though.
Yes. I've used it several times on Twitter.
Anyways, proceed.
But yes. So, I actually tried adding highlights with this one and changing up the color scheme. I think it came out really well for my first try at an actual eye.
Yeah.
Like, this is my first time drawing my own character.
Really?
Yeah. Granted I had an outline for how it should look, but a lot of the detailing was kind of just... a lot of the
art
like...
style reminds me very much of, like, the Monkey Island games.
What do you mean?
Have you ever seen, like, The Curse of Monkey Island?
I'm definitely not Googling it right now.
It's an old point-and-click game, but, like, the lineless style reminds me very much of that.
Oh, the line work style? Ah. Alright, let's get the skin pinned in. Yep. That looks consistent. Actually, I think I need to change the, I said undo, damn it. It's not gonna make me undo, did it? Oh, it's saved because I closed it and opened it, alright.
Oh no.
I'm just gonna reerase the lines because I just remembered that the pecs aren't tightly packed against each other, realistically, so I should probably draw a slight space between the two.
What is it with my fascination and just drawing lady faces? I have this habit of when I do like warm-up doodles, it'll just be like faces. Like random people. Yeah.
Oh, before I forget, I have the next question, if we're up for that.
I was literally just asking for it. Perfect timing.
What now?
It's literally just about to ask for it.
Okay, cool. Is there any particular aim or intent that you want to accomplish by being a content creator?
I mean, obviously it is a lot easier to do a content creator job for me personally, just with the way that my physical health is. So to a degree, yes, I do view it as like I want it to be my job, but I don't know, I've always really liked doing things that other people can enjoy. It's like I'm literally like a barista because of that reason. Is I was like, oh yeah, like making things for people. So like I draw, I crochet, I work in a coffee shop, I do content creation. I don't know, I just like making things that people can enjoy.
Yeah. I guess on my side of it, I mean, there's a couple of things. I kind of want to just expand, I guess, VTubing as a whole. Kind of push out a little bit, link a couple of domains. But I also want to, if I can, I guess, serve as sort of a basis of understanding for, I guess, just helping people, you know, like, improve their lives. That sounds like really cliche, I guess, but, like, I mean, that's kind of what I want to do with the whole deal, like, request motivation thing that I was going to add. It's kind of along the same lines. I'm like, I'm just, hold up, my brain's going somewhere with this, and I'm not keeping pace.
Okay.
I would like... I feel like they're... how do I say this? How do I say this?
You have like the thought and the feeling in your head, just not the words.
Yes. I guess the best way I describe it is, I want the character that I'm making to take on sort of a dad role.
You want to be like a kind of fatherly figure to people.
Exactly. Because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like there are a lot of people out there who could benefit from that. Something that they didn't have that maybe they could get from, I don't know, watching somebody.
You want to be like almost like a Philza figure.
A what?
Have you ever heard of the YouTuber Philza?
Say that again?
Philza, like the name Philza, Philza.
No.
So he was a content creator. He still is. He's a Minecraft content creator that really became a lot of like a father figure to a lot of people. Just based on like specifically who he is.
Okay. Just his personality?
Yeah, just his personality. He is a little bit older than a lot of like most Minecraft creators at the time, so he kind of became like a very fatherly figure to a lot of people.
Yep. I mean, I guess I'm somewhat aware of that. Like you mentioned the way that I use my mentality. I think I feel like there are people who would want that information, who would want that sort of experience base that comes from that mentality.
Yeah.
Maybe I can curate my channel in a way that I can share it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Feels so cliche saying it out loud.
And it feels cliche, but it's truly what you want to do. Then it's not cliche at all. It's just your truth.
That is fair. Oh, sugar biscuits. Wrong side. There we go. Now I'm on setting it up right. Nice. All right. Next question.
It's like slapping through scribbles.
How? What?
Sorry, talking to myself. Go for it.
Good. Also, hello, Crumb. How you doing? How would you describe your preferred art style, or if you don't have one, what style or appearance would you like yours to look similar to?
Ooh, well, that's fun. So I have a couple art styles. My followers have seen that. So I either have like this very like straight line, concise, like crisp line art, or my sketch style, which is more like sketchy but like cohesive. I think I like to achieve different things with both of them. I think one is definitely very like cell shading, like definite like anime inspiration, or like harsh lines and cell shading, but I like to do like a lot of blushing, if that makes sense. Let me see if I can find a piece. It's a good example.
Just a quick look
while I try and find one.
Don't worry, Crumb. I know what transonic means. Also, nice. Also, what do you mean by low power particle, human sonic, and transonic? What do you mean added image? Like, as in images? Crumb's talking about the game he's been developing.
Ah.
I believe. No, mod. His mod.
This is an example of one of the cell shading styles that I have. Lots of shinies, lots of blushies. Colored shading and such. Terror from the Deep, scientific endeavors.
Also, when you say low power particle, human sonic, and transonic, are you referring to like physics? Like certain levels of physics?
That's like out of my wheelhouse.
Certain types of weapon. What do you mean transonic weapons? As in, like, they weaponize the border, as in they weaponize borderline supersonic airflows to cause damage? Also, excuse me if I start throwing around those kinds of terminologies. This is, my background is in aerospace engineering. So.
Oh, Jesus. Casual slice rex lore drop.
Yeah. Casual lore drop. I know planes. Which is also the stuff I want to make those recorded videos about. Is basically I just want to take airplanes from various time periods that were just poorly made and just roast them for, I don't know, 5 minutes. Actually, do you mind if I throw one of them at you?
Oh?
Alright. So, during the Soviet Union's period, they had the first bomber aircraft they introduced that was capable of supersonic flight or breaking the sound barrier, which is 343 meters per second at sea level, or about 770 miles an hour. They made this bomber aircraft called the Tu-22, which was originally going to be NATO codenamed the Bullshot, which was deemed inappropriate. Then they were going to name it the Beauty, which was deemed too nice, and then they called it the Blinder. So the Tu-22 Blinder was this supersonic bomber aircraft that the Soviets made, and kind of scared the crap out of the West for a little while. And it got the nickname of the supersonic booze carrier. So the reason for that is because at that point in time, for at least, I want to say about 10 to 20 years, the Russians used, or the Soviets, used a mixture of ethyl alcohol and distilled water at a 40-60 ratio for coolant, which is what vodka is.
Oh my gosh.
So all of their planes and their electronic systems were vodka cooled. Now,
what the fuck?
Yes. Soviet aircraft weren't as fast as they stated, which is why U.S. went above and beyond with interceptor aircraft. Oh yeah, especially with the MiG-25, and I'll get to that in a minute.
I really did not know where you were gonna go with this, but you've drawn me back. I'm back into it.
So yeah, they called it a supersonic booze carrier because it was basically full of this vodka coolant mixture. Their air systems, so in order to get air into a plane at altitude, you have to take it from the atmosphere, and the only way you can take it from an atmosphere in a pressurized area is through the engine. Just a little bit of aerospace engineering. You always take it from the compressor area of the turbine, of the jet turbine. So, but in order to basically get the airflow moving forward to the cockpit, because that particular plane had the engines mounted all the way at the back, the air had to go all the way forwards through the length of the plane to reach the cockpit. And because of friction, it would always be really hot by the time it got there. Because air moving fast enough will deal with friction against the walls of a surface. So the air would be really hot when it got to the cockpit, and so they would have to use the vodka mixture to cool it. And the pilot could control the amount of the rate at which coolant was used per minute.
Oh god.
From the cockpit. Yes, exactly. So the pilots would always come back, write the reports, and it would say the air conditioning worked perfectly, everything did what it was supposed to do, the air conditioner was perfectly efficient right down to the last drop, every single flight. But that's not what happened. What would really happen is, because of the economic state of the average Soviet citizen at the time, vodka served as a sort of black market currency. And this plane had a much larger vodka tank for coolant than any of its counterparts. So we're talking like the base version had about 225 liters of vodka. The trainer version, which they made later, had an over 400-liter tank of vodka that they would use as coolant that would be vented mid-flight. So they would set that cooling rate as low as they could, get home, and the crews would secretly would like off the books drain all of the coolant, and they would drink it. And because of how much alcohol was in these planes, they basically turned into flying black markets.
Hello?
Yes. And you could have, and any of operational wing was made of 10 of those at any given time. That's over 2,000 liters minimum of vodka flying around mid-flight.
Hoshi.
I love the Black Beanie just put
Beanie
that.
just went
The tasty. Yeah, I saw that.
Whoa. I hate the tasty so much. So glad I can't see it. It got immediately hidden by Hoshi redeeming a little Hoshi. Why?
Cat kiss Beanie.
Yes, it is.
So the what was it? So yeah, those things got known as flying black markets. Got the nickname of the supersonic booze carrier, among other nicknames. There was also, I love this one. One of the nicknames it got was the Aeroplane, also Man-Eater, because the plane was so poorly designed for supersonic flight conditions that when it got going fast enough for long enough, the entire wing would warp due to uneven heating. It would distort the controls, making them not respond correctly, and sometimes it would even cause what was known as aileron reversal. So the ailerons are the controls that let the plane basically roll left or right, right? So if you see the one wing dip down and the other wing dip up, that's called rolling. And so if you want to roll left or roll right, those are the controls you use. The problem is, this thing would get going fast enough that sometimes those controls would invert mid-flight. So you try to turn left. Well, what?
No, keep going.
Oh, okay, I thought you were checking to see if your audio was working.
No, that was me being baffled.
Yeah, so sometimes the controls would invert. So you try to turn left and you end up going right. You're pulling a Lightning McQueen, except you're not trying.
Oh my gosh.
This is the version of turn hard enough left and you'll find yourself going right that you don't want. Mayday air disaster involving aileron reversal? Yeah. Jesus.
Rapes.
Yeah. I'm guessing it's one of those. Was it that TV show that just like covers passenger aircraft crashes? I think I've heard of that one.
No idea I feel like I am so on the outs of the understanding of what's going on right now.
But basically, you would have this plane, it would go so fast that when you tried to turn left, it would go right, and when you tried to turn right, it would go left. And because of how basically it would shapeshift the plane, it would basically make it completely uncontrollable even after you fixed the control issue. If you managed to recover it, you would basically still have a nearly uncontrollable aircraft for the rest of your flight. In something that's probably going at least Mach 1.
Goodness. Spooky.
Yeah. What was it? I was also looking around, and I think I found something on Reddit that was just like, wow, the Soviets didn't hold anything back. The Soviets, at one point, the wives of pilots... Actually, this information was revealed by the guy by a pilot who defected from the Soviet Union to the United States with a plane at the time which at the time was very top secret. And he reported to the Americans that at one point, the wives of all the Soviet pilots submitted a formal complaint to their local base commander that they were turning their pilots into drunks. They were turning their husbands into drunks, and they were taking issue with it. And what the Reddit comment basically outlined was the response was effectively a very coarsely worded, women do not concern yourselves with the matters of military matters.
Hello?
Yeah. The Russians were just, nope.
Goodness.
Just like, the base commander, that was the base commander. It wasn't even the top of the Air Force. It was just that base commander, and they didn't look into it after that. And I was like, whoo, that would not fly today.
I have a question for you, Slice.
Yes.
So you talked about what I hope to gain as a content creator, but what do you hope to gain or achieve with art?
One of the things I want to do is specifically I want to take a very action-oriented direction with my content. And I'm hoping that by improving my ability to draw and also working on my video editing skills, I can kind of merge the two to get into animation and basically create my own fight animations as part of my content.
That'd be pretty fun.
Have I ever shown you an animation called Combat Gods?
I don't believe you have, but I may have seen it myself. Is it one of those, like the
Stick figure, yes. That stuff, I love those. And I'm like, I would love to make a version, like, I mean, half of anime is about getting punched in the face. In all honesty. So, what if I were able to, to my understanding, I don't think I've ever seen any VTuber pursue that general direction with their content. I don't think I've seen anybody try to make animations of that type. I don't think I've seen anybody try to do content using a 3D model of that type. I'm wondering how, like, I would like to try and push the limits of VTubing in the sort of action direction. And so, rather than trying to act like some kind of pretty boy, I would just be that kind of guy who rolls around and makes content that looks, oh crap, my iPad died, hold up. I would rather just make content that, I want to kind of make content, to get into 3D animation, test your character model for your fist fight. I will probably do that. I want to get into 3D animation eventually. But, I'd have to make my own model first, and I am not in a position to do that. But yeah, I want to see if I can expand. I feel like it's an untapped market. I want to see if I can expand into it. Maybe I'll be the first, maybe I won't be, who knows. Just make, like, really flashy, really high-paced fights with, like, these, like, finishing blows that just send somebody to a mountainside.
You want, like, impact frames and, like, a lot of punch.
Impact frames and, like, really, really high speed, like, very similar to the Combat Gods style. Yes, very similar. Yeah, kind of like taking the same animations that were used in the Ruby series and adapting them to a Combat God style.
Was very like
yes.
It was very Monty Ohm's Ruby.
Yep. Actually, it was only when I started thinking about how animation worked that I realized that probably a lot of animation that was made by Ruby probably used physical people with 3D suits. Yeah, rest in peace.
Oh, you should look. They have it on YouTube. They've shown the motion capture for Ruby and for Red vs. Blue.
That's tempting. And I'd probably
since like before Monty Ohm passed, actually.
Because the other thing is, I am a practicing Taekwondo belt, slowly going up in ranks. So I can take actual skills and turn them into a fight animation that just looks really cool.
I don't know how I did this face so perfectly, but you know what? I'm gonna take it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be ungrateful. You know, threw it on there, and I'm just gonna. Yes, I love motion capture.
Yeah, I do want to try eventually turning it. I also want to see if there are certain ways that I can blend like motion capture tech and sort of do a mixed reality concept. So take like a 3D, like you take a 3D suit, like a motion capture suit, and you walk around an area and do like IRL activities, but on screen you look like a 3D animated person. So like I would have my VTuber model in 3D, but I'd do something like, I don't know, go bungee jumping, or I don't know, maybe go into a gun range, something. Just anything in between. And you'd basically be an animated character doing real world activities.
I believe they have something like that where at least it replaces like your face over what you're doing.
But since there's a lot more options with what with IRL of like flesh tubers, if you will, can do versus VTubers supposedly. And I feel like a lot of like the expansion of VTubing as a whole is going to depend on your ability to break out into other niches. The ability to mix the genres is going to matter more. And so I'm just thinking about that in advance.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I want to do. Also kind of answers the last question, so I guess I'll ask that one now. When you become a more established creator, what is one type of content or idea that you'd like to try/experiment with?
Ooh, I have, and with the encouragement from my community, actually, I really wanted to try singing.
Singing as in singing as a like
Yeah, being a singer. So just being like a sing creator.
Okay. I kind of want to make music. I think I've been thinking about making music as well, but I'm trying to figure out what niche I would do with because I don't have a whole lot of faith in my singing voice. So I was thinking that rather than try and force my voice into ranges that might not make sense, trying a different genre of music that can work with it. So for me and my branding, that might be something like sea shanties. Sea shanties, Viking hymns, those could do very well for me. And they don't require a perfect singing voice to do either, which also makes them a good starting point if I want to move into more advanced music styles later. Actually, while we're talking about music, what type of genre do you think you would want to specify, like, specifically go into?
So, mostly I think I would just like to do, like, covers, but, like, I love indie music. So, like, one of my favorite bands is Mega Mango, and I would love to do a cover of one of their songs. And they have, like, they have what's called fruitcore, which is basically, like, bedroom indie. But I've contemplated and talked about doing jazz covers with GameSibe.
Ooh.
Just because when I sing, I have a very alto voice, and I feel like is very fitting for jazz specifically.
Bunker on me. Oop. Looks like my brother is playing Helldivers behind me.
I think I have to widen the hips.
There it is.
Also, Hoshi, I'm so glad you can get a break from your insanity. I saw that in chat earlier.
Can I, like, save this image? Yes. Pictures? We're gonna save that there. Cool. We're going to open that up, and I'm going to use that as a reference point for things like lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to figure out how to, I kind of like the idea that would you enjoy the learning process for rigging? It is tanking. Ooh, yeah.
Hoshi, mad respect for you for learning, for making a model rigging and doing good rigging in like 3 days.
Oh, yeah. I agree, Jellybean. Rigging is nuts.
Hoshi made a chibi model, and began rigging it like the next day.
Damn. Yeah.
Really
The other problem is I made this design, but a lot of it is going to be covered in shadow because the background is just supposed to be dark. Nope. All right. Is there any particular theme? Like, if you were to make it, I guess here's a second question, or another one that I'm just gonna throw on here. If you were to make a song, I guess, what would you make your theme or your core concept? Would it be a specific genre? Would it be a certain idea?
I don't know. Genuinely, I wish I had an answer for that. I feel like I can't get. I'm trying to do it.
Because the answer that I would give for it is the reason I make that question that way is the type of music I would want to make is less of a specific genre and more like that sort of motivational, victorious type, like, I'm winning because I'm here and I'm winning type attitude. The sort of music that gets put together for League of Legends anthems, for Worlds Cups. The same energy. What is it like? What is it like? Do you remember this? Do you know the song Remember the Name?
Maybe? I don't know if I can off the top of my head.
What is it? What is it? What's the, hold up, I'm gonna look up the lines. See if it jogs your memory. 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power
yes,
of
I
will.
do remember. You don't have to
5%
do the full
yeah.
You don't have to do the full thing.
Yeah. That one. That's one of the ones I want to do. I was listening to For the Glory for like the other day, and I was like, I want to do a cover of this.
You want like
It's just
power ballads.
It's just that kind of music that says, hi, I'm here and I'm about to, like, I hope you've been praying, but spoilers, I haven't been listening kind of attitude.
Oh, jeez.
But I feel like that's the kind of tone that I'd want to have my music take.
I feel like with my theming and stuff, it's gotta be more. I feel like I have to lean into like love songs and such, you know.
I also don't think I ever. I don't think I ever. Actually, no, I did kind of answer the question of what I want my style to look similar to. I wanted to look very like the very fine-lined, very well-made, sort of like manga scenes. Like, if I were to make, like, a colored manga scene of somebody getting, like, absolutely sent into a mountainside, that's kind of what I'd be looking at. But the next question
like
I
those
have...
ones that leave, like, the impact.
Yeah, where it's just, like...
Shape in the trees.
It's just that, like, 2-page frame in a manga of somebody getting slammed. And You just see the shockwave pop out, the trees around it kind of bend a little bit, and then the next thing you just have like a quick zoom in on the person who's getting slapped their face, and just like, oh shit, and the next thing you know, they're like 10 miles away. And being able to animate that would be like, oh, I would love to do that.
Very like Studio Bones kind of animation.
Maybe?
Have you ever seen Mob Psycho?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Studio Bones.
Okay. Actually, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, Studio Bones is actually very accurate. Studio Bones also makes One Punch Man, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I feel like Studio Bones has a good grasp on the modern animation without sacrificing readability, because that's a conversation I've seen a lot recently about how like a lot of anime studios are like sacrificing readability for what they think is like large good animation.
What do you mean sacrificing readability?
So you can have a cool animation that looks insane and intense, and you can tell that it's intense, but you can't really tell what's happening. So an anime that does a really good job of that is Mob Psycho, because they have impact frames, but you can in every single second tell what's happening. Hunter x Hunter is another great example of this,
Yep.
where they have fascinatingly and phenomenally animated sequences, and I can always tell. Yes, Demon Slayer did appear in that conversation, Hoshi. That's what I was going to talk about. Is Demon Slayer used to have a really, really good grasp on readability, but like the most recent arc, I cannot tell what's happening in scenes. Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man are another example.
Oh yeah,
I've seen
there's so much going on that you can't keep track of what's actually happening.
Exactly.
Yeah, like
so
I like that to
like
a point, and I agree. I fully agree. It's like I want to be able to see each impact means something. If it's just like a storm of fire, why don't you just draw it from above?
Right. Like you want to know what's happening.
Understand that it's maybe important for cultivating that feeling of adrenaline, but past a certain point, it feels like it's too much. Like I want to like see somebody get hit and just go, oh wow, like that should not have hit that hard.
Another good example would be any of the more adult themed Miyazaki movies. Is they have phenomenal, fluid, and impactful animation, but you could tell every single second it is clear what is happening, but it does not lose the impact of a character being hit or stabbed or punched. It keeps like it hits hard.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite things, I think, in art schooling that I did was for my animation classes. We did animatic work and learning how like readability on a like a storyboard alone can help with the readability in like post. Yeah. I wish I had more to say on that, but that was it. I don't know why I worded it like it was gonna be.
But yeah, I agree. There's like way too much that happens in animation in now times, and it's just I would like to keep track of what's happening, but my eyes have a limited frame per second rate and a limited information absorption rate. I would much rather feel individual impacts through the imagery than see what looks like a fire-based shitstorm.
Not only that, but like, oh, if both of these characters are so insanely powerful that it takes 5,000 punches to take them down, what's the importance of the 5,001th punch? You know?
Yeah.
Like I kind of miss the era of animation where like characters like doing damage to them meant something.
Yeah, it's like yeah, actually that's a really good way of saying it. When damage actually mattered. You didn't need something
Yes.
that obliterated a city to kill people.
You didn't need, like, an Akira level bomb
Exactly.
to kind of damage a person.
Yeah.
But I do love those scenes where it's like, oh, a character is super intense and can launch you at a mountain, but I wish that meant something to me, you know?
Yeah, I feel like I would like it. That's kind of why I want my character to stay human in the long run. Because that way damage matters. And, like,
Yeah.
skill matters. So you can have really cool scenes with near superhuman levels of, like, maybe charging through bullets every now and then, maybe slightly superhuman, but only in the avoidance of damage, not in the taking of it.
Right.
Not in the, like, only in the avoidance of damage, not in the either taking of it or in the close saving of it. Like, you can only close save so much.
So many times, right?
And combat skill is good, but, like, a numerical advantage is a numerical advantage. Should have the ability to strategize around that, right?
Let me see how this looks darker. Do most of this sketch off stream, but I don't think I'm gonna clean it up. I think I'm just gonna leave it sketchy and just color underneath it.
Excellent.
I can't really figure out how this guy's sword works.
Go ahead and draw this part.
See, drawing it darker also makes me realize where my like pieces that need to fix exist.
Nope, I don't want that to happen. Nope. Sorry, I will have the next question in just a moment.
No, you're okay.
Just trying to focus on getting the spade outline done behind the background of the character. There we go. All right. Number 5, what do you think your greatest weakness is in content creation so far, and how do you think you could change that?
recorded content.
Yay.
Recorded content, and then after getting like a full-time job, consistency.
Yeah.
I'm really kind of missing the consistency that I had at the beginning of my journey, where I was streaming at least 2 to 3 times a week, and I was posting on social media and yada yada yada, you know. And then recorded content, because I definitely need to like, that's how you progress in the current content sphere. And I'm not good at it, and I don't like doing it.
Yeah. See, I actually kind of like scripting, because I'm funny on a script, and I can be routinely funny on a script. The thing that I have is improving my ability to, I would say my weakness is being able to improv and speak more constantly on stream. So, I can be funny on a script. I've come up with a lot, like, when I have time to mull over lines and actually think them through, I come up with some pretty stupid stuff, like memely funny stuff. But the problem is, I can't do that on the fly. Because... Oh crap, hold on. Damn curved lines. Drawing the base of the spade is harder than drawing the actual spade.
Let's just make them like a single line.
But, yeah. So yeah, I think my weakness is being able to actually make my content, like entertaining live as much as I probably could on stream.
Hmm. Sorry, I'm going back and replace it.
But yeah, that's all the questions I have. We've gone through them all. Balls. I need more questions.
I was about to go, yippee! We did it. What kind of like content do you want to make more consistently as you like grow as a content creator? Because I feel like I have been doing art and I've been doing gaming, but I really do want to lean into like horror, which I know doesn't seem like something that I specifically would do, but it's something that I'm really excited for.
Honestly, that's a really good question. I mean, aside from maybe aside from making like say training streams, like with I feel like I would need a 3D model for a couple of ideas. Like I could do training streams where it's like I do workouts or like martial arts practice on screen for a bit, and they'd be sort of like chatting streams with a backdrop. What am I thinking? My brain had a direction with this.
Okay, no worries.
But what was the question again? My brain is completely stopped.
Long term, what kind of content do you want to make? Do you want to make variety? Do you want to do gaming? Do you specifically want to do like flesh tubing, instructional, yada yada yada?
I feel like I would like to make at least some degree of motivational content. But ultimately, I think it's just a variety. I don't really have a particular plan to engage in a single niche. I want to hit a couple of different things and make them all work, but keep them sort of within the confines of my branding. So, like, my concept is that I'm like a fighter or a military. Holy crap! How is that shading done? I'm looking at the piece on your stream at the moment. I'm like, how?
Oh, which one?
The one with the green hair and the tiger stripes on the face.
Oh, I didn't do this. Somebody else did this.
Yeah. Trying to figure out.
Lots of soft brushes, lots of blending tools. The larger your canvas, the better.
True. Although I'm unfortunately limited by the size of this iPad.
Well, I've made several.
Crumb says he's been unfortunately typecast on YouTube as a turn-based / colony management dude.
Oh no. Like, here, hold on. I've made stuff like this piece I made as a commission on iPad, like a Gen 2 on Procreate.
Which one? The one that I'm...
The one I just sent you.
Oh, you sent me one. Oh, okay. Nice.
Like, you can definitely achieve it.
I guess I do just need to use a big canvas.
Like several thousand.
Dude, Def has more power. Partially hence why you're so gung-ho about modding it. Okay.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
The what?
No.
I think I'm using an iPad 5.
So even like later than the one that I have.
Yeah. I think I'm using a 5th generation iPad. And the only reason that's the case is because I couldn't get Procreate because I couldn't get an OS update to the version required on an iPad 3. If you could do any form of content and shift towards it, you'd love to do convention vlogging and game reviews and games journalism.
Ooh, that's so fun.
Nice. And then I guess on my next piece, I will just expand the expand the pixel layer and see what happens.
Yeah, just make it big.
Yep. Because right now I'm just trying to work with actual individual pixels. I don't think it's working out for me very much.
Oh no.
Unfortunately, that requires money. Yeah, it does.
Money.
I'm wondering how I should shade this. Because of the way I intend for this to look, most of my character's look is going to be shaded and almost pitch black. The sole reason I went outlined everything and colored everything is in case I decide to use this same art for something else later. So... Take...
Hoshi, by the way, moving away from your iPad and back onto a screen tablet, how have you been adjusting?
Alright, let's say I want to, I think it's going to be easier for me to make a separate layer rather than try and clip mask this.
It's always so much easier. Just trust your heart on that.
Yeah.
Your best bet is always to make another layer, give it like a layer effect, and then like change the opacity, then to make a clip mask.
Yeah, to change the opacity. Yeah. And Crumb, to answer your note, I'm thinking about the lighting style that I want this to work is like this guy sort of walking out of a very dark space. So there isn't going to be a whole lot of detail in the shading. Because most of it is just going to be, at the end, it's going to come out to be a sort of outline. The only place where that might change would be, like, the only place where I would do anything differently would probably be, like, the flames that I've got going on here. Speaking of which... Eyes, flame, base.
Oh, Hoshi, you're gonna be really mad when I tell you. You're gonna be really mad when I tell you I get to go see this guy sing in 3 weeks. I get to go to Lollapalooza in Chicago. And
Crumb, you lost me at the. Crumb says, object source lighting shading would be good around that with 25% opacity. Cyan uses a glow. I tracked the cyan part. The first part, I'm lost.
Yeah, flames. So
What?
making the lighting source from your eyes specifically, so creating like a soft edged layer of cyan, layer over that, and then make it an overlay layer effect, and then 25% opacity.
So should the edges of the flames be lighter or darker?
Lighter, because you want it to be blue the closer to the hottest flame, and then it gets white, and then it gets red.
All right. It's for me.
I get to see Dominic Fike fuming. I can fit in a bag or something, I swear. Sold some organs to buy the tickets in Airbnb. Honestly.
Run miniatures to show off.
I'll take videos just for you of Dominic Fike.
Yep.
not this way. It can be free. Zoom out. Come on, zoom out. No.
Oh,
Please, please, please.
The eraser is way too big.
This is the worst thing I always struggle with. I really gotta get my VGen up and running.
Example of object source lighting.
Too?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, whoops. I don't feel like that's enough. That's fine. We will do this version, cut the opacity of it to like 25-ish%.
I'm gonna wait for my thing to load. There we go.
And then use OSL with OpenXCom, but OpenXCom, even the extended version, doesn't handle transparency like that.
This pale ass boy I gotta draw. Even I don't draw my characters this pale.
I'm just gonna have like a shading layer. Or a general highlight. Cool. What we're gonna do is we're gonna set this to 100% and then erase it into shape and then set the eraser to a high transparency, to a high opacity, but not 100%, and then just scrape over everything.
So I got a better idea for you. Save you all that trouble. So
Okay.
shape it at 100.
Yeah.
Guess you should do that. Get a fuzzy soft edge eraser if you can. Go around the whole thing so it has a soft edge to it. And then just take the whole opacity of like the whole layer and just lower it.
I don't know if I can do that, but I'll give it a shot.
You can do it in Procreate.
Haven't figured that
You
part
have
out.
to like, you get to do 3 fingers on the screen on the layer you want and slide.
Oh.
It's something insane about learning how Procreate works. It is the learning curve ever.
Deploying artillery first. First one is the menu.
Nope. The 3-finger slide cleared the layer.
Oh, so sorry. Try 2-finger slide.
No, that just moves it.
What is it again?
There's got to be some way to, in the adjustments menu, maybe hue, saturation, brightness, color balance, curves, gradient map, Gaussian blur, motion blur, perspective blur.
I def recommend looking to a guide for Procreate gesture controls. They're so hidden, they are.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna hit the bathroom for half a second. I'll be back.
Yeah, you're good. Not the song I was anticipating to come on right now. I was going to say Chapel Run, but that might be a bit more dangerous for being on there. That one's going to be a little more difficult. they booked her before she like exploded. Oh no. It's they better move her stage or they're kind of in for a world of hurt. Chet is doing good, or at least I'm doing good. Fulcrum, how are you doing? Thank you for coming by. I'm mad because my sister got to see her live as an opener for Olivia. For Guts or for Sour? This guy should be. Oh, for Guts. I feel like I should do this as like barefoot, but
We're back.
back.
Boy.
Change my mind and I'm making.
All right. Let's see. All right, let's.
That's much better.
All right, let's go ahead and.
Staring at a sprite while I figure out sprites. I'm coding at the moment too, and my brain hurts. I'm so sorry to hear that, Crumb.
Real quick, check the shirt base and get those things you don't notice when you are dealing with a white outline. Boogity. All right. So, what are the sources of inspiration for the piece that you're currently working on?
So this is actually a raffle piece.
Ooh.
I had a 100 Twitch followers art raffle for a full body piece.
Oh God. All right.
And this is one of the winners. My friend North was the other winner. I will pull up their. This was their winning raffle piece. Was them reading a book with their worm on a string and being surprised by a plot twist, which was so fun and cute to draw. This piece that I'm working on is, I believe, somebody's D&D character. It is definitely giving very Soul Calibur. But they, in their original piece, are wearing almost like an over the toga style, kind of like one shoulder piece. And I drew them in this moving position, and I liked the shirtless look better. I couldn't figure out how to do the toga piece, so I'm almost like a folded over. And they've never had a full body made of their character before, so I'm the first full body.
Nice.
And so they had to deal with me deciding that their character is no barefoot. They have no choice.
Your decisions are subject to me. Oh shit.
I just feel like they'd be a barefoot person, you know?
I just realized what I was doing wrong. It's drawing on the wrong
Giving a
layer.
very, like, monk pose. Like, monk with a sword. I think I still have the image underneath. That is my reference image, which was this. And then it became
certain areas I think I will clip the layers.
there.
Mask.
Look back at
Excellent.
okay. Gray. Think about me every night.
Is it appropriate to have the light deflecting off of both the edge, like the upper edge and the outer edge of the color?
Give me 2 seconds. Let me look. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. For this example, maybe yes.
Okay. But not for the other side.
There you go.
There we go. Boom.
I'm gonna darken this shade of gray on the outer edge of the sword. I'm a singer.
Actually, yeah, I think it's going to be angled somewhat differently. So let's go ahead and bring some bands here. Create a cell, clip mask.
That's better.
There. Not on this side. Won't reach all the way down, but it will reach the sword.
Yellow.
Actually, with the sword base, let me go ahead and add some black liner here around the handle. Okay, now, not that thick. Oh well. Boom.
A little bit better. Do you have any medias do you think that inspire your art?
What do you mean by medias?
Like shows, video games, books.
I would say One Punch Man definitely helped. There is a certain bit to, like, Dragon Ball that I guess gives me... Yeah, definitely some from Dragon Ball. I am a bit partial to the whole screaming for power-up concept. There's just something about trying to power up that has to be let out in sound form.
So powerful you must scream it.
Exactly. Scream it into reality. Make it so. No. But yes, so Dragon Ball, One Punch Man, generally very action-packed, and I do like the idea of... What am I thinking of? Oh yeah, definitely the martial arts and taijutsu of Naruto. I would argue those are the medias that gave me a lot of the idea to poke this path. What about you?
I definitely have a lot of like video games that I like to take inspiration from. I was literally talking to somebody else about there's one artist that I think I have subconsciously been drawing like for years. His name is Mark Crilly. And he is one of the artists that like was my first teachers, quote unquote teachers. And I found him on YouTube when I was first learning to draw back like 13 years ago. And I think just like his art style has stuck with me. He has a series called Brody's Ghost that I was like really into when I was younger. And I think a lot of like my hands and faces and noses follow his like specific style accidentally. A lot of like old animes I used to watch, so like Fruits Basket. You can cringe at some of the names that I'm going to give you, like Princess Tutu, Tokyo Mew Mew. I do think I take inspiration from Soul Eater and Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood a lot as well. I think a lot of like my feminine designs are definitely inspired by like Fullmetal Alchemist. Like I would be lying if I said that my demon form was not inspired by Lust from Fullmetal Alchemist. Which is kind of the joke I'm going for with being like her being like a succubus demon.
Yep. That tracks. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned Fullmetal Alchemist because part of the inspiration for the design for my character came from Roy Mustang.
Hell yeah.
Honestly, the idea that I came up with was a blend between Roy Mustang and Jail Murdoch from The Plunderer.
I think I've heard of that.
But yeah, I do like the, honestly, I really like the concept of Fullmetal Alchemist, of people make things not by just like magically making them out of nothing, but by converting matter into them, like magic within the laws of physics.
Yeah, understanding what specifically has to be given and taken. That was another reason why I really like the concepts, and I have just started getting into Hunter x Hunter.
All right.
Why I really like the concepts of like conjurers in Hunter x Hunter. Like the power that they have is you can only create something if you know exactly how to make it, like exactly what it looks like at every single angle and every single position, and like knowing exactly how something looks so you can use it.
Yeah. Being able to actually visualize what you're creating in your mind through sheer knowledge.
Desert Punk Cowboy Bebop, Full Metal Panic, very good choices. Crom, what is your opinion on the original Trigun? If you're kind of like that desert punk kind of.
Oh, actually, you know what? I just thought of a thing. One of the things I feel like I definitely would want to try once I'm being able to draw my own stuff is maybe to make my own manga. Like a manga for my own storyline.
It'd be fun.
Maybe I should focus on drawing good line art then instead of drawing the colors.
Yeah. Find something that you really are passionate about doing and like focus in hard. Taking time to do studies is one of like the biggest like pieces of advice that I give people is take time to like dive into one specific like what discipline to understand like the full capacity of it. Otherwise, I think like you'll end up half-assing it for a long time until you like dedicate that time to it.
Should I draw highlights on the outlines of the coat flaps and the pecs, or is that just too far? Is that just like too low down for it to matter?
Should you draw what?
So for the object source lighting for the eyes, does it make sense to draw it all the way down on the coat?
Just do it. Nope. Just do it for the top of the collar, and then the edges of the face and the underside of the hair.
Okay. I also have some down here on the sword, but that's just because it's made of metal and poking out forward.
Yes.
Yes. Not on the bottom. Why not on the bottom, like not on this edge here?
Yeah, no, not on that bottom edge.
Why not?
Because it wouldn't hit there. It would be in shadow. You only want like the toppest edges, like so you won't get reflection light on that bottom edge because it is made out of like fabric.
All right. I also have some over here on the left shoulder from like bouncing off the rank patch and the armband.
That makes sense, yes.
Yes.
You would for the arm patch, you've got it. Like the ranking badge, you've got that fine. So for that arm, like the shoulder piece, you're gonna want it to like follow the line of that.
That shoulder band is relatively straight and thick, so it does protrude relatively straight, almost parallel with the band.
You still want to like you want it to follow where like the light is coming in almost like an orb. You want to see the high points that it would hit. So it would follow for a period of time towards the chest, not the whole way, but on that like outer edge. It's gonna make like no sense, but like on the outer edge rather than like the inner edge, you're gonna like do that line down and in, but not the whole way.
Oh, so like almost like nope, that's not it. Where is it? This one.
And like the fully gold shoulder piece.
Like that? Glancing off the inside edge, or?
Yes, perfect. Like that.
Okay. All right. That tracks.
So now you can make it, so you can make almost like kind of like triangle.
What do you mean triangle?
So you see like the edge of like that first line you've made?
Yep.
Now go to the bottom edge of the one that you just drew.
Yep.
Triangle.
Like that?
Yes. There you go.
All right, then my question becomes why? Why is it a triangle?
Because that's how the orb would sit. So it's not going to light on the back because there's like no backlighting. But because the eye is to the front, the orb is gonna go to the front, and so it's gonna be on like that cut edge there.
Okay. I feel like I should do some lighting studies. or at least look at it like a real image, just like move our light around things just to see how it shines.
Absolutely. If that's something that you would like to do full, that would be like super cool. The comic of your origin.
Mm. We said no lighting on the inside of the like outlining the pectoral muscles, right?
No, just not right now. I think it would
Okay.
look a little bit strange.
All right. And now I just need some
Numbers
lighting
are cool.
along the face.
Numbers are cool as hell.
Would there be any highlight along the beard layer or no? I feel like no, because it's hair, not like.
So there would be a little bit, but but no, because of the way that you've drawn the beard specifically.
Okay. Make this a little smaller, actually. That's too angular.
I'm gonna find myself doing more painterly style.
Oh shit.
Sketch
I'm drawing on the
pieces.
wrong freaking layer.
Oh, that's the worst. That's my hell. Yeah.
So is that kind of the highlighting I should expect to have along the eye? Ooh, actually just reminded me of the eyebrow. I don't have eyebrows made for this character yet. Hold the phone. That's an
no.
issue. That's a problem.
Those are kind of important.
Slightly, yeah. That explains why the face looked so barren.
Oh no.
It was missing critical facial features. Glad I caught it now while I was getting ready to highlight. I was wondering, where should I put the brow line? Oh, wait a minute. There's a specific facial detail that's supposed to outline that for me. Actually, hold on.
Biggest thing I have to welcome back, Nellin. Before the helmet, all origin comic stuff will show him either in face and shadow or from behind. That's a really fun. I think it's always really fun to like mess with people a little bit who are like, "Ooh, show us the face," and then you do like backstory comic stuff, and they don't get to know.
Making a nice little redraw of the eyebrows here. Of that eyebrow in particular. There we go. I think that better captures it. Now we'll go back to, I believe this is the color I was using. Yes. Face outlines. Boom. Is there a lower line? Like, how do I trace the cheekbone, I guess?
I couldn't tell you. I don't really so sorry.
All right. Oh. There we go. Trying to figure out how to draw the highlight along the cheekbone.
Oh no. He's doing a highlight from like a light source on an eye.
No, that kind of feels like now what I've got here just kind of feels like a weird. Just gonna Google images of highlights along cheekbones.
Right. I think this might just be done.
They don't usually have any. Alright, I guess I'm gonna just remove that part entirely. Is my avatar a cyborg of sorts? No. He is, this is just kind of like, this artwork was actually inspired by it's kind of dark, but the entrance of Goblin Slayer. And the fact that he's got the red eye glow. So, this is just kind of like an entry piece, like, I am here now, and things are about to get out of hand. That's just kind of what the attitude of this piece has.
I did the wrong brush.
Oh, nice. Nice, Crumb. Your draw made the Marines take the lead over the sailors. I hope Bell doesn't show up. To quote Richard the Warlock from Looking for Group, rejoice for bad things are about to happen. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That is my character's attitude when I'm walking like this. Probably do the same thing with that flame when I'm done with this. Highlighting the inside of there. So you said I should blend the edges before I go and, like, erase, before I lower the opacity of the layer, right?
At least that's what I do.
Okay.
Look how weird this song is.
So what now?
I Want to Be Yours by Arctic Monkeys, or the 1975, one of those two.
Have I been using two different colors for my highlights? I have. Shit. I'm sure it'll be fine. Just my character in half shadow, you can barely see an absolute Madden grin in the visor. Yes, with that line from SAO Abridged of well, but I've got some good news. There's no need to wonder where your god is. He's right here, and he's fresh out of mercy.
Why do you sound just like the abridged version of Kirito?
That was the intention. I didn't realize that was that accurate.
You have the same kind of like scratch that the voice actor has.
Ha! No, that didn't work. That was probably a little too forced. Do that Kirito voice really well? Oh boy, Crumb. I'm gonna have to hear that sometime. On the face outlines, I am gonna do a little bit of
A lot of Sabrina today on the playlist.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the shading on the shadow flames real quick. Because they're black, but I want them to sort of like transition to an almost bluish color.
That has been one of my favorite things to do recently, is doing different colors for my shadows. Picking up, it is time to do the signature.
Hold up, my shadow flames apparently need some touch-ups. Just a moment here. Oh.
I'm so much more tired than I thought I was going to be.
The sleep comes for you.
I'm so deeper. Proud of this piece though.
Shit, wrong where? There we go.
Nope.
There we go.
Can do what? I've had 2 hours. I finished my piece. I feel success here.
Nice. Oh, that looks good.
Thank you. Not quite the motion I wanted to have, but I lost a little bit of the dynamic movement. So I'm very proud of it. It's so cool. I think it's really funny to see me dying in a glue trap and then like the sickest drawing of me ever. so proud of this, though. I had no idea how this piece was going to turn out. I do, unfortunately, as I save this piece, think I have to end my part of the stream.
Oh no.
Thank you so much for doing a collab with me. I had such a fun time.
Thank you for joining. It was great.
I learned many aerospace things today.
Yes.
Many factoids about aerospace engineering and vodka.
I can't wait to make that video. I don't think it's going to be the first one I make because I want to make ones that are relevant first and funny later. But I also really just want to make that video and just feel like I should just full send it because it's going to be hilarious one way or another. There's no way it won't.
All right. Yes, Nellen, I will. Alrighty. We're going to wrap on up. Thank you, Slice, so much for having me.
Yeah.
And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your stream. If you continue to stream after I head on out.
I think I'm going to keep going. I want to work on a little more of this highlighting. At the very least, I think I can get the highlighting done today.
God, speed. Soldier. Amen. Right. With that, I dip myself on out. Goodbye.
Goodbye. So how's your night been so far, Crumb? I heard you made a lot of progress. I know you said you made a lot of progress on your mod. Sure work Friday? Ooh boy. Oh, whoops. Wrong layer. There we go. Ooga booga. Boogada boogada. Ah. Hey, hey. Thanks for the raid, Erosa, and welcome in, raiders. We're going to be doing a little bit more dabbling in the artworks for a bit, and then we're probably going to ditz about as well. But thank you for the raid, Rosa. I appreciate it. And hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? How's your evenings? Thanks, I will do that. I will... Stream will be fun times. And if all those of you who are going to go to sleep now, have a good have a good night and sleep well. On Steam, I might enjoy From Glory to Goo. Huh. What is From Glory to Goo about? Boogity boogity. Oh wow, I'm missing a lot of parts in these flames. Holy shit. Should probably touch these up first. Missing all kinds of little bubbles here. You didn't realize you'd been a part of the raid? It was the RTS quality management sim about saving colonists after attacked by the goo. Oh boy. Sounds mildly terrifying. I do feel like I'd like to try a sort of like a Stellaris stream again. I know I've tried them before. I don't know, just like an event where we just kind of sit and chill. I want to do more group games. More experimenting with group games. Like I've got Monopoly now. Want to try blasting around with that. Oh shit. Ooga booga. I do not remember these edges feeling this blocky. Oh shit. And back to here. Cool. Should I be using a blue this light for the tip of the flames? Not entirely sure. Hmm. Sweet. I'm gonna do the same thing to these ones. Balls. There it is. Boom. Whew. Man. Yeah, I think I'm gonna tip the flames a little bit more with blue. Try and make them like... Might be drawn with a bit large of a brush here, but... Boom. Scrape that off. And take the next. The tips look good like that, but I need to blend the edges. So thinking about how this is going to work. From the perspective of the next stroke. And let's go ahead and spin this up. Boom. Perfect. Booyah. And boom shakalaka. Hell yeah. Erase that spot real quick. All right. The brush a little smaller for this part. Boom. Pop. Boom. Boom. And we're going to erase that. Fill that in. Check it. Cool. Good. Now we're cooking with gas. All right, now we're going to smudge the shit out of him. Oh, that looks nice. Hmm. I think I need to make this one shorter. Just to make the shading feasible. Boom, get rid of that. Cool. Oh god. Cool. And now we're going to erase that. Hmm. Boop-a-doop. Clear that out and smudge it. There we go. Oh, shit, I missed a spot. Since I now know how this works, I'm just going to go ahead and round it off. All right. Boom. And up the size of the eraser to make this a little faster. Cool. And smudge that. That comes out nice. There we go. I think that helps. Go and you. Here, good. Excellent. Clean up there just to be sure. Bop. Boom. Oh, that just looks nasty. Whew. Let's take the other highlight areas. Yep. This one is for the shirt. Got it. Now then, let's do you. Boom. There's that. And now for that one as well, the sword. And last but not least, we have the face. And I think we'll reduce the opacity of the eraser to a bit more, to a bit less. As well, this is the face, and it's going to be pretty obvious there. There we go. Nice. Let's see if we can make a background now. Or actually the overall shading, because I haven't done that yet. I don't want this one to be more of an airbrush stroke. Soft blend. %. Nope. Oh. I'm just gonna have to do this over every layer individually. But... Oh, I almost forgot about the hair highlights. Hold up. Let's do this then. Okay, that is done. I think I will figure out how to do the rest of this another time. It's time to raid. Let's go find somebody. Who's alive? We got somebody else from the guild up and running. Let's go ahead and raid him. We're gonna go ahead and raid Link. Alright, everybody. Very low energy stream. Thanks for joining us for the evening. And I will see all of you next time. It's probably gonna be for another art stream. See you then.